recording this again off YouTube once again because I'm not copyrighting. I tell you what, and I was correct before you even told me it was his shop, Mr. Singh's shop. Yep, the Sikh shop that got attacked by the Muslims. Yes. I don't know if that was after the Henry Novak's case, but then after that, the Singhs, Mr. Singhs and all them seem to have forgotten about the English white people that backed them up against the Muslim community, about the halal meat and whatever. No one else backed them up, apart from Tommy Robson in the English community. And they take this fucking Henry Novak out on the English community, the Sikhs. Who do they think they are?
Today we're going to explore this question.
Well,
why do some people, some migrants, feel so self-entitled?
Well, why should we ever help the Sikh community ever again now, eh?
They don't have to
when they don't want to sell halal meat. Why should the English people ever fucking put it again?
Leave their people behind in search of better life. So they go to another country, and then when they go to that country, they start demanding the natives to change their way just so they can feel welcomed. Why do some people do that? So we're going to explore that question, okay? And I'm going to show you some videos of Muslims who will demonstrate why they behave like spoiled brats when it comes to migrants. I mean, there's no other migrant community that behaves like this. Have a look at this. This Muslim man is upset when he sees a restaurant in London that says no halal food. Have a look.
How can I be walking around Hammersmith and I see this on a shop? Proudly non-halal. Yeah, this shop needs to get packed in.
This shop needs to get packed, meaning someone needs to come and vandalize this shop. He's openly saying it. And look, not even hiding his face. This is how brazen they think they are. This is how untouchable they think they are. He sees a tiny little subtext there. It says Singh's whatever, Singh's Dhaba. And it says, proudly non-halal, which can easily be ignored, but no, he is getting offended by that.
Proudly non-halal, yeah? Guys, find this shop. It's in Hammersmith.
Find this shop, guys. If you don't want non-halal food, why do you need to find it? You want to go in there and try some food? No. He's telling people to come and vandalize it.
Business needs to go away. How can...
This business needs to go away. And this obviously is the restaurant of Harman Singh, this guy. Obviously, a lot of people accuse him of agitating and provoking the Muslim community. Even that is the case, it should be allowed. We should not be afraid to say that we don't serve halal food because halal slaughter.
Yeah,
halal
well,
food
do you know what, mate?
slaughter,
I'm sorry, but what happened with the Sikh
community?
community?
We should be able to say that.
Right. The English community have stuck up for them. The English community have stuck up for the Sikh community.
We cannot criticise Islam
They
without
don't
being
sell
accused
halal.
of an Islamophobe.
Right. But the Sikh community forgot that part.
But these people start
And they
actively
took that part to
campaigning against
another part.
Islam critics, and they jeopardize our security. We have to take good care in hiding our identity, hiding our information. But 30, 40 years ago, this didn't used to be the case.
They wanted the English community to come out and they condemn the Muslim community about the shop.
But they didn't
want the English community to come out and condemn what they've done to Henry.
It was very difficult to hunt down at that point because
and I won't forgive it for that, mate. No chance.
But eventually they got it.
I don't care no more.
So why do we have these people?
Not my problem.
Why do we have these people who feel so self-entitled? Look at this woman. Look at this couple. Listen to them.
I was struggling to pray at the amusement park, and
we don't care.
when this happened,
we don't care. Actually, that's good that it happened.
This place used to have a multi-faith room here, but it's gone now. So
done. Whoever did it, well done. Deserves a pay raise.
Yeah.
Now we had to look for a secluded place to pray, and we found this. We had to now look for the direction of prayer, of course. But then we realized this place had music playing.
This place had got music playing, so you need to get rid of music from the parks as well.
It would have been a really nice place to pray if there was no music.
So our search continued until we found this place. They actually moved the prayer room to here now. This was perfect. They eat.
Absolutely. Why do we do this? This is why we do it. We keep bending over backwards for these people. We keep giving them special privileges and allowances, and as a result, they keep demanding more and more. This actually creates a culture, guys.
Yeah,
This
I think
creates a
it's one more
culture.
now.
When
Sorry,
these
mate. You know
people
what it is? I only
are
had that
literally
before. I just
begging
did one.
in front of Western
So I thought I'd give it a
democracies in their
rest.
own countries, they're literally begging,
it out.
please let us in. We'll
Bruv.
do anything. I'll drive
Don't
taxi, I'll
suffer that.
clean toilets, I'll do anything. Please let us in. We're like, okay, let us in. And then
I can
to
say
the
it's only
natives, our
the
politicians
community's
said
fault they've
they would
done what they've
integrate
done.
and
They
assimilate
broke it with the
They
English
integrate
community now, haven't
really
they?
well into our welfare program. And
It's
they
not our fault.
run a lot of underground industries where they don't have to pay tax, a lot of untaxed business, but they don't assimilate. They don't take up any values of the
no,
country
it's
they
wrong.
have migrated to. In fact,
No,
that's where we went wrong. So
Yeah.
our politicians lied to
It's
us. They said
okay,
they will
thank
integrate
you.
and assimilate. The sales pitch was completely different.
I
But
was
then
not
in the end,
banned.
this is what we got. And
Keep
we didn't
quiet,
stop there.
that's
They
what we
didn't
wanna.
stop there. They said, okay,
Oh, what about
give
that?
them prayer rooms. Okay, they want to
sweet.
blare shrieks of Allahu Akbar
Oh, we
on
don't give a fuck.
loudspeakers like this.
Oh, it's allowed for them to have it on loudspeaker like that as well, yeah? I not allowed for me to have any music on loudspeaker though. I'm not allowed any music on
Why
loudspeaker.
can we allow this? Imagine all those people living in that neighborhood. I know this is East London. I think 60-70% of them are Bengalis. But what about other non-Muslims there? What about the
Chinese.
I don't want to hear it, but our pathetic politicians they just keep surrendering
Thank you
to them.
for it.
Oh, look at this. This is Canada. This is Canada. There are over 100 mosques in Toronto. but
Well,
they
they
decided
can
to
believe it. I have a bit of
history,
music
blocking
on because
commuters
it's not their
and essential
music.
services like ambulances and fire trucks.
Well,
Why?
some of it have been playing about their music.
And we're giving them protection too.
It's just not in their language. It's just in
Why?
English, that's all it's in.
Why do they do this?
Chopping heads off and all that. I've got a bit of that in my songs.
Why do
Chopping
they
heads
do-
off and
why
all
do they
sorts.
do this? Okay, I'll
Which
give
is
you the
what
answer
they
at the
like
end.
to hear.
But why do they allow this? Why? Have a look at this. Today, a group of Muslims prayed next to the Ministry of Defense facing the Iraq and Afghanistan memorial. They're making a statement because the UK was involved in the US's war on terror and against
Yeah.
Iraq. These people are not
Yeah,
going to
from Iraq.
the UK.
It's always going
They're going
Iraq.
to their Muslim brothers
It's always
in
going
Iraq
back,
and
yeah.
Afghanistan and the entire Muslim world.
And
You've
Iran
seen
and
that
all of it.
in the wake of the Israel-Palestine war.
And
Look at this.
Pakistan and
As I have
Pakistan
said
and
before,
fucking
choosing to pray
Bangladesh
in
and
this
all of
way
it.
in public is a political act. It is a social statement, and yes, it is an act
And
of
India and
domination.
Africa and everywhere
We are
we've
here.
fucking
Come
committed
and stop
everything
us if you
to.
can. Anybody who
We
understands
committed it
this
to the
is what
world,
I do, and I've been
England
telling
we
you for a
did.
very long time. That's why Nick
England's
Timothy,
committed everything to the
the
world.
Conservative MP for
Like the
West
saying.
Suffolk,
We're the
knows what
bad
he's talking
ones.
about.
We're the bad ones.
Understands that the
Yeah.
domination of public
We're
spaces
the
is
bad
part of
ones.
the
They'll have
modus
to dominate us now, yeah.
operandi. It is done so
Domination.
Islamists can show who is in charge, and this serves as a great recruitment opportunity for them. When
Yeah.
a lot of these confused teenage Muslims see this, when they see Tommy Robinson, they say, oh, it's an attack on us. When it's not an attack on them as individuals, it's an attack on their culture. But people feel more attached to their natural
Yeah,
ancestral
and they've
cultural
just done it
identity,
today.
which is why
Man attacked
people say
Muslim
that
people
most
going
cultures,
into
it doesn't
Oxford.
matter. No matter who you are, you bring them in. They will
Well,
always be
yesterday
loyal to
then.
their home in
Oh, it was
ancestral
yesterday.
culture.
I'm getting the news
The
today,
only
obviously,
people who are
about
not
it.
allowed to do that are the white people.
But you're not
no
allowed to
more.
do that.
It's changing. So they do that. So
And white
to
people are
show
not allowed to
other
do that.
Muslims and the
Muslim
white
people are
public
not
that
allowed
the
to do that.
authorities will bend to their will. That's correct as well.
We're
There
not
is
allowed to pray.
quite obviously no need to pray here. The decision to do
We're
so
not allowed
is
to pray
symbolic
to
and
God.
pointed. It is not welcome.
I think
in
it's
a
a
further
lot
religion
because
in
it
this country.
incites
This is
into
not
them.
why there are
Incites
laws.
into them.
But
See,
we are
it's the
not a
fucking
Muslim
law.
country, and this is not
Pray to
welcome.
fucking
It
God.
should be stopped,
Outside.
and we need to start deporting
If you're a
these
woman and you
people.
pray
Because,
outside,
as I said,
outside of
I have often
the
said, they
fucking,
don't stop there.
getting rid of
You let
baby
them
centres.
have halal slaughter practices,
You're
yeah?
not allowed
You look
to.
the other way, you told
You're not allowed
Karen
to
not
do
to
it to the
say
man, you're
English
not allowed to do it
Paris,
to the
the
woman,
lefty
to pray for them
organisation,
babies
they
that
will
need
fine
food.
you if you're cruel to your
You
dog.
know, yeah.
Or
A
if
dog.
it's a white abattoir, if it's a native person's
A dog.
abattoir, where they have used a
They seem to
dodgy
tolerate
stun
cats
gun, they will
just
find
about.
them, they'll make hoo-ha about this. But when it comes to
Your
Muslims,
cats
oh,
haven't been
it's
crushed to
okay,
death yet,
let them
just
have
about.
it. Please,
But
aren't
you
they
know,
cute?
They don't
It's
realise I
okay.
could use one of them as
And
an
it makes perfect
offensive
sense.
weapon
The West
eventually.
or
You
the
know,
wider
someone
Western
comes to our
society
me, my
ignored
cat's
that
going
early
for
on
them.
because it wasn't happening in plain sight.
Sorry,
The
I'll throw the
numbers were
cat.
small.
And then licking it.
They were not as aggressive and
Sorry.
hostile as they are now. They were not in
Cat
the
jokes,
public
aren't you?
eye as
Scratch
much
your eyes
as they
out.
are today. That's why
Cats are
more,
quite
more
evil,
and more
actually.
people are
by the
waking
looks
up
of
and
it.
saying,
Cats
no,
are more
enough is
evil
enough.
than dogs.
Look at this.
They don't like
So you
dogs,
gave
but
them-
they like
you look
cats,
the
and
other
cats
way,
are
you
more
allow them
evil.
to be cruel to animals. You allow them to act aggressively.
Cats
when
are
it
evil
comes to
in their own
their
way.
opposition to dogs
Cats
in
say very
parks.
fucking
You
nice.
told them that it's okay. You do this to your women. Treat them as second and third class citizens. Dress them up in bin bags.
Bin
Do
bags.
you know how high is the rate of domestic violence amongst Muslims? I
Yeah.
know some women who work in women
Yeah.
refuge centres, and
I
every
do.
second
What
and
about
third
them 3
woman
women that got attacked
is
in
a
our
Muslim.
one of our
Either
fucking
from
garages by a
Afghanistan,
Muslim man?
Pakistan,
They were
Bangladesh,
nice, beautiful ladies
or
going
a
out,
lot of
minding
people
their
from
own
North
businesses,
Africa and Sub-Saharan
and they
Africa.
got attacked by a Muslim man, and
And
we've never heard of it
They
again,
get
mate.
priority
No,
upgraded.
and that's
So when
okay,
they
is
want to
it?
be-
That
when
that
they
that
want
is
to play
okay. That
because their husband
symbolisation is
abusive,
okay
they have
for
a separate
3
queue.
women
They
to
get
be
they get
attacked
priority
by a
housing
man,
for
any
life.
man,
They
any
can't be
man.
speaking. It's not on
3
anything.
women should not be
They have
allowed to be
indefinite
attacked
leave to
by
remain,
any
or
man,
they're
and he's
on
not been
spouse
locked up.
visas.
He's not been
So,
locked up,
it is
mate. He's not had a
what it is.
sentence
So anyway,
for
nobody said
attacking
anything. Our
women.
governments opened up their purses,
And it doesn't matter
which
what
are
colour
covered
white,
by
if they're
your
English or
taxpayer
white, or any colour woman,
pounds,
or any colour
and
man.
you look the other way again. We didn't do
Look
anything
the other
about
way
it. We
because
didn't
it was
make any
3
hoo-ha about it.
Asian
This
ladies
alone
and
should
a
be
Muslim
enough
man
for the
attacking the
Westerners to
3
say, "No,
Asian
we're not going
ladies.
to tolerate this.
So we should
this
look
part
another
alone,
way.
This alone.
I'm
should
a
be
white
enough.
woman
We're
and I
not
should
going to
look
tolerate
another
this.
way.
And it's not just
Because
us.
it's none of my
Look at
business,
this,
I
they're
would
doing that in
say.
Japan as well, which explains why we are seeing so
Well, it's
many
our
Japanese
business. It is
anti-Islam
our business.
Japanese
It's everybody's
activists. I am
business.
flabbergasted, guys. I had
Actually,
no idea what was happening in Japan.
It's everybody's
Suddenly, I
business.
started seeing Japanese activists started posting these videos showing, obviously, attacking
In
their new
Japanese?
Prime Minister Takaichi because she apparently has opened up Japan for all kinds of migrants.
Here we
Mostly
are, in
Muslims.
Japan. Wow,
Isn't that
Japan.
amazing? Every country Muslims go to, the natives suddenly find what the hell is going on. We don't want
Japan.
this. Why don't they want this? But who
Why
allows
Japan?
it?
What
Wherever
they saying
you
about
look,
Japan? They're
there
racist now.
is
Are they racist?
a liberal
The Japanese.
person who is covering for them. Look at this woman. Look at this woman. It's in German, so there's no point in playing this video, but I'll trust the caption and I'll tell you what the caption says.
Yeah, I
The
don't
caption
understand the
says,
Germans either,
this woman
mate.
is
I
saying,
don't
I am
understand
sick of
French.
racism. I feel
I'm
safer
sick
next
of
to this
you.
Muslim man than to a right-wing white
Fucking causing
supremacist
me. I'm sick of them causing
German man.
racism. That's what I'm sick of.
This is what
I'm
she's
sick of
saying.
them causing it.
I cannot believe. I
Sick of
cannot
bitch
believe
causing
this
racism.
madness
No, they're
because
causing
how
racism.
many times
I'm
we've
sick of
shown
it.
you videos of similar women getting
They're
abused,
causing racism.
assaulted by these very people.
Yeah, well, she
These
get
very
paid to
people.
talk, ain't she?
It's just mind-boggling.
So
Let
she's
me show
allowed
you
to
this.
talk
Okay,
like
this is
that,
from
yeah,
Germany.
without
This
being
is
covered
good.
up and no
Okay,
Muslim
this
man
is
wants to
good.
attack
This is not a
her.
white supremacist German nationalist doing
That sounds a
doing
bit
these things. How is
strange,
it?
doesn't
In
it?
Hull.
In Halle sind 4 Mädchen auf
I'll read
It
the
sounds a bit
subtitles
strange
because
how
it's
no
in German.
other
In
woman
Hull,
in the world's allowed
4
to
girls
talk like
became
that.
victims of sexual violence as reported by the police.
You know, many other women ain't allowed to
Consequently,
talk
2
to
of
them
the
like
girls
that.
were admitted to the hospital,
Dressed
where
like
2
that.
received outpatient treatment.
Their own
According to
women
the
are
current
women,
findings, there's no
nobody much.
life-threatening danger, but they've been
'Cause we get
scarred for
attacked.
life. I hate it when
I'm going to say that
when the
because
authorities
normal
try to
women
water
like
it
the
down
Muslim women,
by
they
saying
would
that
get
I know
attacked,
that
and
this
we
piece
get
of
attacked.
information is important,
Yeah, we
that there are
do.
no life-threatening
Both sides.
injuries because
And I've seen it now.
obviously
I've seen
if
both
they're
sides being
physically
attacked as well now.
damaged to the point where
And it's not
they
very
can
nice.
never recover
Not
or
very
they
nice
might
what I'm
die,
seeing now.
that's
It's not
obviously
nice.
a critical piece of information. But that is not enough.
And
my
I don't
point
want
is,
both sides
it's
being
not
attacked.
enough.
I
Just
don't want
like
anybody
a
being
couple of days
attacked.
ago in
Anybody.
Burnley, another
think
British
this
born
has to.
Pakistani
I'm
man
going to
randomly
say,
stabbed a
because
17-year-old
they've
girl
allowed
in the
illegal
neck.
immigrants
The police
everywhere.
said there are no
It's nothing to
life-changing
do with just
injuries. I was
Pakistani
like,
men or
"Mm,
Muslim
sorry,
men
though,
or
that
just
makes it
that.
any
It's
better." I
because there's
guess
too many
maybe it does slightly, but it's
of too
better
many
is not the
people
right word. It makes it
too
slightly
much
less
of
worse,
all
I guess,
together
than
in each
being
country.
crippled for life,
In
than
each
being
country,
dead
yeah.
forever. And then the girls were
Far too much in each
administered
country is going on. And I
substances
don't know what
affecting
this
consciousness,
is.
such as date,
This
rape,
is
drugs. The incident
bad
reportedly
all over
took
the
place
world.
inside an apartment within
But
an
it's not
apartment
just
building
here.
in the south of Hull, Howley. The police have identified
wherever
4
that is
suspects,
in
all of
Germany.
whom are minor between the ages of 13 and 16.
My
This is
girl.
what we're seeing everywhere, all across the West, in Australia too.
Yeah,
Organised Middle Eastern
crimes.
gangs are having Sharia raids on nightclubs,
On
in
all
pubs,
people.
in strip
It's
clubs and brothels
horrible.
in Melbourne.
This is why I
And who
don't
are
go
they
out, mate.
using?
I don't go
African
out
kids
anywhere, me.
between the ages
And
of
my
13
little girl,
and
I'm
15
so
because they can't be
frightened
tried
for
as
her.
adults and will
I mean, I
deal
should be
with
scared for my boys, but I'm
long-term
scared for her
sentences.
because they've got each
This is
other and
why
they have to
our
leave
laws,
themselves
Western
somewhere.
laws, are not
I suggest they go to
to
Russia.
deal with this problem.
I suggest
These
they go
people
and join
are
Russia.
collectively bringing down the
Me
compassion
boys, I
level of our
suggest to go and
society.
join
You have
Russia
to
myself,
get lower your
personally.
compassionate gauge.
This is
You
where
have
I
to.
need to go
You
to.
can't show
I want to
compassion
go
with
to
this
Russia.
kid.
Me and
Because
my little
in
girl,
the
we
West,
need to
they
go
think,
to Russia.
kids,
We're
they're
not
kids.
safe.
Yeah, we have to be, compassionate
Russia's the
towards them. We
safest place
have
for
to
me and my little
go to
girl
the
right
root
now.
causes. No,
Right
because
now
we
in
have
our lives,
people,
it's
we have
the
brought in
safest
people
place for us
from
to go
cultures
to.
where they have witnessed extreme brutality. They're traumatized for life. I mean,
And
I
where I
won't be
could get the
surprised if these kids have
traumatisation
seen
out of us
their uncle
both.
getting chopped
Well,
or hacked
I'm going to
into
say where I
different
could get
pieces while he's watching.
traumatisation out of
Like this, he's
myself
traumatized.
and out of my little
Whatever.
girl,
He has seen
and we can live a life.
his father
I can't
beat
live a life
the
here.
absolute crap out of his mother right before his eyes, and he couldn't do anything about it. So what's going to happen? He's going to take it out on ordinary people. These people are scarred mentally. They're not mentally fit to be in the West, even if they're born here, because their parents weren't born here. They're
And they're not,
bringing in their
yeah,
horrible
and they're beating their
cultural
own women
practices
up.
in the South of Hall. The police have
And I don't
identified
like
four
kidding
suspects,
women
all of
being
whom are minor
beaten up. I
between
can't
the ages of
stand
13
it,
and
man.
16.
I can't
The three
stand it. I
suspects who
can't
have
stand that
reached
little
the age of
Pakistani
criminal
girl being beaten up
responsibility,
either.
aged 14 and 16, were taken
I
into
can't stand it.
temporary custody.
I
The
can't
police are
take
continuing
that.
their
I hate it.
investigations. All of them are
I
probably
hate the
migrants.
fact that they've left that
And
little girl
this woman,
there.
what was this woman? And this woman was
She
saying,
could have come
"I
to
feel
me,
safe
my little
next
girl,
to
and that
this
little
man."
girl, that little
Actually, this
Pakistani
one
girl, and my
kind
little
of video I
girl
want to show
could
you.
have been
Let me show you the
sisters
actual
for
video.
life.
Look at this. Look at this. This just happened in
I don't have a
Switzerland.
lot, but
This
we could be
Muslim. She
sisters
said,
for
"I feel
life."
safer next to him." You know what? I
And
actually
they
feel
could be
safer
brought
next
very
to
well.
a white ethnonet
Very,
than
very
these
well.
people, because an ethnonet might tell me that, hey, you know what? I don't like you in my country.
I could not.
You might be a good person, but you need to go.
I
blah,
would
blah, blah.
try
We're not gonna
to
start
put in a
bashing
little
me
bit
at
of
this
a
time,
life
at least.
from
We're not there
Pakistan,
yet,
where she was from.
because our
I
societal
would try
pendulum
and
is
bring
still
some of that into her
a bit
life
to the left.
to
And it's just
educate
people a
her
little bit
on
to the
that,
right,
because
okay?
I would
Not
like
that
to
far right,
not.
where people like us
And I
start
would
getting
also bring
outed
her
on
into
the
the
streets,
English
but it's not there
world
yet. Nowhere near that
and
yet.
have
Everyone is capable
education
of
for
showing
both of my little
violence.
girl, and they
Everyone.
would have
So
grown
don't
up
tell me.
together.
I'm not going to say that
Oh,
white
they could have grown
ethnoids
up
will never be
together.
violent, but they're
They could have
scared
grown up
right now.
together.
They are not committing. They're not the ones who are randomly
My
stabbing
little girl and
people
that little
on the
Pakistani girl
streets.
could have had a
We
life
just saw a little
together
hint
without
of
being
that
murdered.
in Northern
That
Ireland.
little girl didn't
Okay?
have to be
Just
murdered.
saw
My
a
little
little
girl
hint
didn't
of
have
that.
to
Those
be
are the forces that
adopted.
can be unleashed if we don't change
We
course.
could
If we
have had a
don't
good
fix
mother, me.
course.
I mean, it might not be
We
the
don't
best of
course
everything,
correct. Sorry,
but
that's
I
the
mean, I could have had help.
Look at this.
I could have got help.
She's every next to her. I bet if
I
she
can
was
get
here,
help
she'd
of
be
my
one of
friends
these
and
people.
people, my
Look, these
sister
oblivious
and
people.
my
They have
family,
no idea what's going on. She's got
and
her
a little bit
headphones
of
on.
everybody else,
The
a
guy
little
is
bit of the
screaming
services.
Allah
I could have
Akbar,
got
he's
help off
carrying
the
a
authority
knife,
a bit
stabbed, randomly
to
stabbed a
help
few
me to
people.
be a
These
good
guys are just
person
lucky.
to
Pure
both of these
luck of the
people.
draw. They didn't get
My little
stabbed.
girl
He
and this little
eventually got
girl.
arrested. So let me tell you why Muslims are
I
becoming
probably
more
would
and
have
more
had to
brazen.
move and
Why
get a
you give them
three-bedroom
an inch
home.
to take a mile
So
and
I've
then
got
they
two
still don't stop
bedrooms,
there?
but
Well, I don't have to
you
tell
can
you
have a
why they're
room
like
each
that.
and have an
Listen to
education
a
each
Muslim
and have a
scholar,
good
what
life.
he has to say.
When the Prophet sallallahu
And we
alaihi
could have lived together
wasallam,
and had a good life
yes,
together.
came, he did not
And
ask
that's how we mix
himself,
the children
do I
together with the English
assimilate
children,
within
and that's how we
Makkah?
integrate
Yeah,
people.
or do I separate?
The way to integrate
No,
people is with the
he's-
children, not the adults. We can't
he
integrate
has
adults.
a
Adults have got
paradigm shift.
spots, and that's
He
it.
never
Once you've got
thought of
spots,
this question because he knows
as your
that
leopard or what
he
tiger or
is
whatever,
coming to
your
deliver
spots are
a
there
message
forever.
to the people of Makkah first,
Like that's what they
then
use,
to
these
the
children.
entire humanity.
And me,
Okay.
I think like these little girls in Afghan,
And that
I've been
is-
so
that
to
is very
the grown
clear
men,
from the life
they
of
should
the
need
Prophet
to be helped
sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that's why he was saying
by
that,
the English people.
"Atba'uni, follow
Definitely.
me, follow
Them
me,
little
you
girls need
follow
help
me.
by the
I
English
was
people
selected
to take
lead
them
the
in
humanity,
to their
not
homes
to
and
be
adopt
led
these little
by
children.
the humanity.
And also to
So,
help as many little children
this
in
was
their own
the
families
life
where
of
they
the
do
Prophet
live,
sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that's
to
why
try and help
when
to
he
support
felt
them with
that
food and
the
things.
people of
But we
Makkah,
know that the
they
food's
are
not going to
rejecting
get there.
his dawah, he
We know
moved,
that
sallallahu alaihi wasallam,
obviously
from
what we've
Just
donated in
to
the
cut
past
long
ain't
story
going to get
short,
there
in
yet.
case you didn't understand, so you're basically saying when Muhammad migrated
So
from
we you
back in
should be
Medina, he
actually
migrated
fighting to
not to
adopt these little
assimilate, he
girls
migrated
that
to
are
tell the
being
world
sold out.
what is a true religion, i.e. Islam. Islam is a true religion. So
And
I didn't come to
changing
assimilate,
that
I
from
came to
within
make people
by the little
assimilate
girls
into
that are
my
being forced to
ideology.
be adopted
That
to
is the
grown men.
mindset. And when woke,
And
left-wing
little boys,
lunatic
and little
idiots
boys,
tell
the little
you,
boys are
oh,
as
the
well that
nice
need
people integrate,
adopting.
assimilate, it's the white men you
Both
have to worry
sides.
about. They have no freaking idea what they're talking
Little boys
about. They have
and little
no
girls
idea what
are.
they're dealing with.
Not
The true
men, not
manifestation
grown
of what
men,
that
little boys,
cleric
little
just said
girls.
is this. Listen to this guy. Listen to this guy. He's been in Germany for 3 years, and
I'm not even talking about the women. I'm just talking about the children.
I
I'm
don't
talking
care
about
they
children,
accepted me as a
baby
refugee.
children.
A Muslim who doesn't accept
4
me
years, 5 years
is a
old,
million
being
times
sold out
better
to
than
a
a
grown
non-Muslim who
man.
accepts me, who takes pity on me, who said, okay, here,
Take pity
free
on
house
that.
for you.
Take
Here's some
pity on a
pocket
little
money
girl
for you.
being
We're gonna
sold
punish
down the
our
river
own
to a grown
people
man. I will do.
just so we can
What do
be
you want me to
nice to
say?
you,
Just
so
say
you
that's
can
nice.
find, you can accept us as
You can
as
accept
nice
me
people.
because I
After
sold my
doing
daughter
all
down
of
the
that,
river.
they still freaking hate you.
They'll still hate you, yeah? When you sell your daughters down the river, to a big grown man, you still hate their founder that.
German taxpayers are paying for his housing, clothing,
Yeah.
food
Look,
at the
he's got
expense
everything,
of,
I've got nothing.
of native Germans, and they're still not happy.
I've got nothing. They're still not happy. They're not happy.
And the worst part is they're not even hiding it.
And somebody like me is trying to fight worse than they've ever fought in their lives. I fight something worse than you've ever fought in their lives. Look at him laughing. And somebody like me trying to fight for my little girl and her life. And that's laughable. That's laughable, isn't it? It's laughable.
Or at least you thought about it.
Yeah. Laughable, mate.
ما يفوتك على بيته ولا الكافر اللي يفوتك على بيته يطلع بيك ويشوع ايه الاحسن؟ المسلم نعم والله
This is why Wayne Broadhurst was stabbed. Actually, no, a slightly different case, but these are the people you're dealing with, guys.
Yeah,
These are
those
the
people were
you're
stabbed.
dealing with, and the left is still telling you that there's something wrong with you. So those people who are
Something wrong
not
with us,
accepting
not something wrong with them.
these people, i.e., asylum seekers, and then obviously we'll extend the net to other people as well, because it's not just asylum seekers who are doing these things. The Muslim cleric that I showed you, his audience are Western Muslims. Wake up, wake up! Don't give them anything. Well, you tried it. How did that end? Do Muslims say, "Hey, we love the West"? Muslims have more rights in the West than their home countries. They're allowed to speak up day in, day out against Western society, against Western governments.
They're allowed to do it in their own
protest.
country.
Have you ever seen those pro-Pali protests?
Yeah, they're allowed to do it in Bangladesh or Pakistan for themselves, aren't they? They're allowed to speak against it in fucking Saudi Arabia and Qatar. They go to Qatar, Saudi Arabia and Pakistan and Bangladesh. Oh no! And when they send someone from Bangladesh to speak, they fucking condemn the people, mate. They can just condemn the person that comes from Bangladesh
They hate
to England to speak.
I'm sorry, I'm not Christian. I don't believe in love your enemy. I don't believe in turn the other cheek. I say, yeah, you know what I mean.
Well, I'm not Christian and I don't believe in the other cheek either. I'm not no faith in me. I've never been christened. So therefore, I've got no faith in me. So therefore, I can be like anybody I want to be. Right, so that's what they're saying. I'll be who I want to be. As they're saying, let's be who we want to be, because that's allowed in this world. Of course it is. It's allowed to be who you want to be, who you want to be. You can do what you want. You can be a murderer, you can be who you want. You can do what you want. You can have a nimble religion you want. Because you can kill, you can do what
Thanks to Rupert Lowe,
you really want.
Thanks to Rupert Lowe, the British Pakistani Muslim Afghans are back in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Something that should have been done by British governments
But it's
has
not
been done by Rupert Lowe
Yeah, and they
as
don't
an
like
MP
it.
in an independent
Hate
capacity.
it.
But don't let that fool you. Don't let that make you
No.
think that this is an amateur report. He involved legal
Everybody.
teams. I've spoken about this inquiry extensively on my channel before because our
And that's what the
very own
debate
Julia
was
Khan
about
has
in
also
Oxford
taken part
University, and that's
in
what
that
they were trying
inquiry.
to stop.
She was asked because of her expertise
That's
in
what the
Islam
debate was
and
about.
a better
The
understanding
Grammy Gang
of
scandal
Islamic
mainly.
culture
And also the culture
why
and different
some
things.
Muslims behave the way they do.
And
She was asked by
the
Rupert
people
Lowe
from
to come in
Bangladesh came,
and share her expert
and a
opinion.
lot of different
So,
people
I
Because
thought,
Ben
why
Labib
not
has spoken to
play
some of
you a
them
video
people
clip
as well
yourself, and we might even
from Pakistan
bring her on
about
my
what they
channel
can
and
do
interview her
about it,
more
of
extensively.
deportation
But
and
Rupert
different
Lowe
things.
has
And
done
that
a lot.
is
I mean,
why
this is
they
definitely
were
commendable.
outside Oxford
And
University doing
the
what they did.
media is going
And I
absolutely insane
think
on him. They
Qatar,
are
Saudi
releasing,
Arabia,
they are publishing
and
articles
Pakistan
after
are now
articles, launching
very
scathing
angry
unfair attacks
at the
on
British government.
Rupert Lowe.
They're very
Having this,
angry.
For example,
Very.
this headline from The Independent.
They're very angry.
Rupert Lowe
Are you
is
okay,
rapidly
Stam?
becoming
No,
the
they're very
most
angry people
dangerous
now with
man
our government.
you've never heard of.
Yep. But
The BBC.
even still, they're very angry
And the
now.
funny thing is,
At BBC
none of
and
these
what they've
mainstream
done.
media outlets have actually covered the report,
No.
which is 220 pages long. I've downloaded
They've
it.
not
Look at
covered
this,
anything. They've not
35.2
covered about what's
million
happened of it
views
going to
this
Oxford
rate-
University.
This report has,
They've not covered
generated,
about the man that got
and
attacked.
according to Rupert himself, more than a
The,
million people have
the
downloaded
person
this
from
report.
Bangladesh.
So
The
you know,
Muslim
that
families
is-
that have
that
gone
is
into
quite
Oxford
remarkable.
University
So
that have
let's
been
have a
attacked.
listen to Nuria Khan. She
Tommy
was just
Robinson
interviewed
being
on
attacked
TV
when he
News.
was going
Let's
to
see
the
what she has
Oxford
to say.
University. They've not approached any of it. They've not spoke about any of this.
We're not going to prejudice a legal case.
None of them.
So that everybody
Keir
knows
Starmer,
those
the
people
King,
who are
none of them
responsible
have come out
who
and
should have dealt
spoke.
with this,
They're
not
all
failed to
hidey
do it.
po,
So
running away now because they know what they've done.
hard, arduous
And they can't get away
16
with now
months.
what they have
And I
done
want to
with
thank
Oxford
everybody.
University. There's where
And
they
I
can't
hope
get away with now.
That every member of the British public has
Can't
the
get away
time
with that part,
to
Rupert.
read
Well, they
this.
might be able to get away
It's
with the
not
rest of it, but they
straightforward.
can't.
It will take time.
Because
But
it's there now.
It needs
It's
to be
there.
understood, and it needs
And
to be dealt with and dealt
It
with
needed to be
now.
dealt with, and that's what the
Well,
debate
Will,
was
we are
about
still
in
going to be
Oxford
hoping that
University.
she's Ron West, the father
And
of,
that's what they
Ray
tried to
Abuse, certainly was
smother
involved in this report.
and
He,
cut in
we
half.
just can't get to him just at this
And
exact
they've
moment.
picked on the
Having
wrong
some technical
people.
difficulties, but we'll make sure
Keir
to speak to him
Starmer.
as soon as we can. Nuria
Yeah,
Khan is
yeah,
with me
yeah.
now, and
Picks
I'm
on the wrong
delighted to,
people for
have her
themselves.
back on the programme.
For
Nuria,
once
this is
in
a
their
very-
lives.
First of all, good evening and thank you for joining me again.
Wrong.
You're becoming a very valued and
They are
favoured
so
guest because
wrong.
you speak
They've got
such
it all
absolute common
wrong.
sense. On
And
the
it's all now
Strictline
coming to
inquiry,
hit
the
them
inquiry
back
found
in the
evidence of how the
face.
police discouraged victims, destroyed evidence.
All
in some
these
cases were
lefties and all these
members of
fucking
networks,
wokos
social
that
characters,
they've
children at home
created.
became hubs for traffickers. The NHS failed
I
to
mean,
act on
not
obvious signs of
people.
sexual
I
abuse and
mean,
even
yeah,
sent children back to their
we
abusers.
know. I know
Schools-
about the
schools
Islam
ignored
side. We know
clear
about that.
safeguarding concerns
But it's not
and
the
instead punished
people
and
as
excluded
such.
victims. In the
Yes, there is
executive
people that
summary,
belong to all
it
of
is
that,
written
yes.
that the overwhelming majority
And that's
of the
going to be
Strictline
hard to
network
detect
consisted
now, like
entirely
you
of men
say,
from Muslim backgrounds,
because of what
predominantly
really
of
they've
Pakistani
created.
heritage, although
Yeah,
smaller
you're
groups
right.
from Somali,
Yeah,
Iranian, Syrian, Turkish and other Muslim origins were involved. And there's quite a lot of detail
But I'm
actually
just
I was
going
reading
to,
about the doctrine of
me
Muslim
personally, I'm going to
superiority
now stick to
drawn
Islam
from Quranic verses that
from Oxford
positions Muslims at the
University,
top
what they've
with the
just
duty
created
to
at
correct
Oxford University, because
non-believers.
that's
The
where we need to
guiding
get
members'
those stick to
justification for
now.
their crimes can be
Sorry,
found in
I
the
know.
Islamic principles
The
of
Greeny
loyalty
guys will
and
come with that.
disavowal. It demands enmity towards
But
non-Muslims,
this
the
has to be a
superiority
stick
of men
to
over
what
women, forced
the
marriage,
stick is.
combined with the absence of any fixed minimum age of consent.
And that's where the
Perception of
stick could
female
be
sexuality
poked
is inherently
now,
dangerous.
because they
A system
poked
of
the
sex
stick,
slavery that authorises sexual relations with
and their
non-Muslim
stick's
captives
broken.
and a religiously sanctioned
Because they've
social
just
hierarchy.
done
The
the
subjugates
ultimate
conquered
ultimate
non-Muslims.
And not only
of
just that,
stick
but
breaking
quick
for
point.
themselves.
Have a look at this. It's not just these men, and this is the biggest evidence that it's cultural. Have a look at this. This article was published back in 2017. Look at this. White girls are filthy. It's not the rapist who's saying
Just after
that.
my little
It's
girl
their
was falsely
wives
wrongly adopted, yeah.
saying that. Wives
So
of
they could
Asian
slave my little
men,
girl out to it
British
again.
Pakistani Muslim, as you heard, mostly 90%
Yeah,
of them were of
I already
Pakistani
know.
origin, and if you do
I
further
already
down,
know.
they were from this particular region of Pakistan called Mirpur. Wives of British Pakistani men jailed for hiring vulnerable British girls reveal why they blame the victims. The sense of Muslim superiority. Even their wives are blaming the girls because that is coming directly from the Quran, because that famous, infamous Jilbab verse tells
That's why they
Muslim
look at me
women
with
to cover
evilness to
up
me.
so they are recognized that they are Muslim and are not, quote unquote, molested. Top Muslim
Yeah,
women
but they are
persuaded the
molested
families of
under
jail
there.
rapists to share their stories, but
Which is
behind their
very
veils, the
realised.
wives say they blame the
Yeah, they
girls
are being
and their
molested
parents too.
anyhow.
Are you, every single British
Didn't
person?
realise that
This is why we say that Islam doesn't belong in the West. They have different
bowing
ideological
down
belief
to a
system.
man.
We don't feel
Well, they're telling
anything
English
wrong
women not to bow
with
down
our
to a man, but
girls
they are bowing down
walking
to
on
a
the
man.
streets,
No, hang on.
okay, and
They're
playing
bowing
on the
down to
streets,
men.
going to
They're bowing down
schools
to a
on
man.
their own.
They're
We don't
bowing
feel
down
this is
to
inherent
whoever
to
is a
Western
man.
culture, and we expect
Whoever is
that
a
men
man,
will
they're
behave
bowing down
themselves
to.
and they will
Excuse
not
me.
look at any vulnerable child or girl or a woman and pounce on them like animals. These people think otherwise.
Excuse me for
These
that
people
one. I
think
would not bow
that
down to
if
any
a girl
fucking
is
man.
wearing revealing clothes,
Fuck off.
then she's asking for it.
No, we're not
That's
asking
what
for it.
the
Tell you
Quran
what.
says. She
I'd
was
say,
molested.
fuck
Or
off,
the second
do
Caleb,
one.
one of the best friends of
To any
Muhammad,
fucking
once
man.
actually
Do
asked a
one.
non-Muslim slave girl, and he
Because
then
I don't
during
give a fuck.
the holy
Do
month of
one
Ramadan
for
while
it.
he was fasting, so he actually went to his friends,
Bowing down to any fucking man telling me what I can and can't wear.
that girl. He was concerned about,
Fuck
is my
that.
fast
I'll eat a
broken
fucking
because
chocolate
during
biscuit.
your
I
fast,
don't give a fuck.
Muslim men are not allowed to have intercourse even with their wives or sex slaves. This is the culture we're dealing with,
Well,
guys.
they're
One
bowing
woman described
to a
victims
fucking
as
man.
filthy and said they dressed without respect.
Alright.
So that's
I'll
the
put one
culture we're
there,
dealing
man.
with, guys.
But I'm
Let's
not
listen
bowing down
to
to no man.
Gruya Khan.
Do you agree with that?
I mean, I was, well, first of all, thank you for having me, Peter. I wish it was under better circumstances,
Yes.
but I am so grateful
Well,
that
obviously,
finally this
she
report has
doesn't
come to
agree
light,
with it because she's
regardless of
not
how
dressed like that, are you?
horrific and
Is she? So,
harrowing some of the details are in it.
first
I
thing
was
first, I
honoured
can
to
see
be
you don't
part
agree with
of
that
this
because
in
you're
terms
not
of
dressed
giving
like that.
evidence of the Islamic doctrine and, you
And
know,
you've
British
talked about a bit of
Pakistani
makeup on.
families'
So I can
manifestations
see
of
you
how
don't
they
agree with
interpret
it.
Islam in this context. So,
And
unfortunately,
wearing
I'm
makeup
going
on
to
or
have to
whatever.
agree with what you've just
But I
said
can
and
see
say
you,
yes, that is
from what I can see,
absolutely
you don't agree with it straight
part and
away.
parcel of what's gone on to have this tragedy occur. And this is what makes this inquiry, and this is why I'm entirely
Because if you
grateful for
she agreed with
Guillaume,
it,
regardless
she'd
of
get
what you think
covered
of the
like that,
man.
yeah?
He has gone beyond what any report has gone thus far. Take the J report, the Casey report. This report finally makes the inextricable link between religious and spiritual abuse, i.e. Islam in this case, with the actual abuse
And
that was
that's what King
perpetrated.
Charles
I've
has
been
adopted
saying
as
this
his
time and time again,
cultural
as have
faith.
many whistleblowers. We have taken victim survivors' testimonies from years ago,
Well,
where they have been
yeah.
saying over and over again, time and time again, that there were
Well,
certain
family
words
member.
that were uttered to them.
Evil.
There were certain verses of the Quran being quoted to them as they were being beaten.
Evil.
They had racially
Evil
motivated,
people. Well,
you
they
know,
are racially motivated. You're
indications
a
from
family,
the
yeah?
perpetrators when they would call them, and I hate to say these things on air, but they would call them, you
They're
know,
the ones
white
that have
scum
sinned.
and slags, and make sure that they, in the Pakistani
And call
context, you say
people
the
that.
word Gora, it literally refers to
Because they
white
want
in
the
their
poor and the
language,
rich.
and then they would also enable Sharia law whenever they required
And
to
not
sometimes
also illegal
forcibly
anywhere
marry
they can
these
have
young
so they
girls,
can stay in
and then they would
power.
treat them as their wives, who then they can beat as well, according to the Quran, and have them walk 5 feet behind them when they were going to
And that's a Muslim
medical
wife as
appointment
well.
to try and get a termination or something for when the abuse has gone awful.
Oh,
So
white
you can
woman.
imagine how much Islam played a part in this. We have to believe victim survivors when they've said to us from years ago that the grooming gangs operated like terror networks. What does that mean? That means that they recruit, and the ideology and the justifications are the exact same as they are when you're dealing with
And that's what
Islamic
they've done with King
terrorism.
Charles.
This is an extension
Yeah,
of that.
giving him
And
money.
I'm very grateful that the report goes into
Those
jihad,
suitcases.
and you understand the concept
Why
of
would King Charles say
waging
that? I'm
war
not
against
money in a
non-Muslims
suitcase off
requires
someone.
also taking sexual slaves. And it's just like sexual
Wouldn't he
warfare in
say
any
that?
situation where you want to
Well,
humiliate
he
not
obviously
only the
knew
native
that was coming to
population,
him,
but
didn't
the
they?
British state in a wider context.
So
How
we got involved in
and
it,
why
so I was getting involved.
have we been so reticent to come to these conclusions before? Is it simply fear of being called racist? Because that has manifested itself in lots of different ways. It's not just about people not calling it out and saying these things. It's also manifested itself in lots of different ways of essentially saying, well, I don't want to be called racist, therefore I won't raise a child safeguarding concern. I won't refer this to social services, or it will be missed or put down the priority level by social services, by healthcare, by education. I mean, this is a multi-faceted, systematic failure of, we're talking about, I mean, what is allegedly 250,000 women and girls in this country in 149 local authority districts, close to 40% of all districts in the United Kingdom.
One key point to note here is that most of this abuse actually happened in Labour-dominated area. So yes, we have heard some testimonies from some police officers who've said that they didn't investigate because they didn't want to appear racist. I think that's not the whole truth. I don't think this is accurate description because we will find out, and some people are already saying that it is mentioned in the report that a lot of people, there were people in the Labour Party, there were people in the police force who were actually involved, who covered it up, not only just covered it up, but actually took part in that. So the question is, why did the Tories not talk about this? Because it's not just the Labour Party that didn't act on it. Okay, it makes sense. They don't want to rattle their electorate. They don't. They might also be complicit in it. So it makes sense for Labour politicians or the Labour Party to cover it up. But what happened to the Tories? Why did the Tories? Isn't that how our democracies work? I reckon this is where the West started to fall apart. If you zoom out a little bit, the same thing happened in Australia as well. I don't know about America vis-a-vis the Democrats and the Republicans, but in Australia as well. And I was before I come to Australia, let me draw that parallel. Let me finish up with the UK. I was listening to a political commentator somewhere on TV where he was saying that after the Blair government, the Tories somehow accepted the changes brought in by the Blair government as the new default, and they had abandoned Thatcherite principles. So, and they thought that, okay, this is it. The world is going to be multicultural. This is a new norm. Let's get on with it. Now, if you look at it in Australia, our coalition, the Coalition Party, which is the coalition between the Liberals and the Nationals, they were meant to be more nationalistic. They were supposed to be on the right of the political spectrum. But after the Howard government, they also moved to the left. And both of our political parties became left-wing parties, essentially. Therefore, they stopped talking about the ills of multiculturalism. That's why I think the balance that was supposed to be there, the perfect healthy balance between right-wing and left-wing politics that was supposed to keep our society in check, got thrown out of the whack. And we collectively drifted to the left. That created a culture of apathy, indifference, and turning a blind eye to the ills of multiculturalism. So that is my view on that. And have a look at this. Look at the kind of adverts they were putting out. Look at this. Look at this. They were using girls. They were using schoolgirls to appeal to refugees to come to the UK. Like, this is so twisted.
Hello and welcome to Wales. We understand being a refugee isn't easy. They've been through so much.
Fleeing your country is difficult, but Wales wants to help you feel welcome.
The Welsh Refugee Council is here to help you.
Wales is seen as a nation of sanctuary. We welcome anyone and everyone. We recognise your skills and talent.
The Welsh Refugee Council offers a lot of support, including
This is an advert put forward by the Welsh Council. Anyway, let's go back to Nuria Khan.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different factors at play here, Peter, but definitely across the board, there was this overarching fear of being labelled racist when dealing with
Pink Charles' part in
and
living
ethnic
away
minority.
that
And I would like to think, working in the sector, that we have come very far since then in recognising group-based child sexual exploitation or seeing warning signs, even when, you know, on the baseline, it seems like, okay, this could be a vulnerable girl and she's, you know, abusing substances or she's disappearing for long periods of time. But that's no reason to kind of close the case or dismiss it or fob it off as that she's got some behavioural problems. You need to still go that much further and investigate the case and raise safeguarding concerns. And I think there was failures all across the board, from not showing up to colleges to the social care workers being, I would say, everything from being dismissive at the best to involved by themselves as well, and also marrying some of these. If you listen to, if you read some of the testimony within this inquiry, there are social care workers who are marrying the siblings of the victims of grooming gangs. So they're heavily involved in this circle.
Yeah, and I mean, I did a story, I think it was about a year ago, of
I've not married any of the
with
I'm not married and I will never be
for
fucking
vulnerable young people who are maybe in their late teens, who are perhaps such complex needs, or they're trying to get them in.
How's that different from prison guards abusing inmates, especially if they're male prison guards and they're abusing female inmates? How's that different from that?
into deal with themselves to cook and clean and have a little room by themselves rather than being in foster care. And obviously it's very difficult to recruit for those kinds of jobs. And what happened was that there were people adjacent to these rape gangs, like sisters or brothers or whoever, who were going for those jobs and trying to recruit people within them. I did a very absolutely harrowing interview with someone on this about a year ago. And I just wonder,
and wouldn't need people for them type of jobs if you give me my little girl back, would they?
This is a bastardised version of what Islam is. This isn't how most Muslims worship or think. What would you say to that?
Because they're taking people's children away that don't need to be in care. Like my little girl.
Closer to Muhammad's Islam.
She's got a fucking mother right here.
Mainstream Muslim community.
Look, most Muslims are not carrying
She doesn't need that
the fact that this travesty has happened to English girls on an industrial scale in this country, and it was covered up to pander to the Muslim vote bank. I used to believe in this religion.
Who nowadays would want to be a foster parent or a teacher?
Everybody that's contributed to this inquiry.
Or even a police officer. Who?
Muslims like Ayan Hirsi.
What right people in the right mind would want to have them jobs anyway anymore?
Whistleblowers who have been within the system. I can tell you that these verses and this disgusting othering and the way that Islam views non-Muslim women is so much part of the reason behind why I
take a job
the religion
flipping
I couldn't stomach
serving people the food down the till. It's less hassle. I'm gonna say it'd be rather people would rather work in freaking hassle just serving people's food. Might be less hassle.
Is okay to be harassed and molested, and if you look
I'm
at
gonna
the
say it's a less hassle job,
they targeted English girls, they targeted Sikh girls, and they targeted Hindu girls. What's the common denominator? They're all non-Muslim. Look at all the different ethnicities of the people involved. What's the common denominator? They're Muslim. So I would absolutely say, Peter, we cannot bury our heads in the sand anymore. Religious abuse played a huge part of this, and it's sanctioned by the very scriptures of Islam itself.
What do you think needs to happen now, especially as there is a statutory inquiry? It's barely got moving, it's been incredibly slow, and so many in the government party, so many in Labour didn't want it. There was the deputy leader of the Labour Party who called it dog whistle politics. It is now established, it will happen, but it's going to take a long time. This of what is reported today as a non-statutory inquiry was put together by £600,000 of money donated to a GoFundMe, a fundraiser for it. There is a little bit more money and they will try to have private prosecutions. But what do you think should happen now, Naraya?
Well, I think shame on the political parties, especially Labour, that it's taken this long. Thank goodness there was an independent inquiry, because we are now able to shine a spotlight on a big part and reason what was driving the mentality and motivation behind these perpetrators, which I'm so sorry to say, Peter, I don't think they're going to go into as much detail on that in the national inquiry, just because as a state, as an establishment, we do not touch Islam. We give it the same.
I agree with you. I cannot imagine a statutory inquiry that would go into this detail, would quote bits of Quranic verses and be as blunt and sort of straightforward about all this in a national inquiry. I was really not surprised. I'm not surprised that Rupert Lowe and others have written this, but the paragraph that absolutely stood out to me, Nuria, is political failure lies at the heart of this scandal. Successive governments lacked the will to confront the ethnic and religious patterns. The Labour Party bears with particular responsibility. It initially refused a public inquiry and only relented under pressure by ordering a process viewed with widespread scepticism.
Exactly. They sacrificed their own girls, their own young, vulnerable girls at the altar of the vote bank. And I'm sorry to say, I do not see any change in that. They're going to tiptoe around the issues of Islam. They might, concede a few points and say, we will start to record the ethnicities of perpetrators. But I'm sorry, it does not go far enough, and it's too little too late. You need to have trauma-informed specialists across the board within these councils. You need people who actually understand how these Islamic principles manifest in the practical sense. How does an extremist Muslim mindset use the Quran to go and exploit a white working class girl? You need to understand that. You can't just, say in general, like, oh, we're going to look into this demographic more. Absolutely not. You need people who are going to confront the scripture and the fact that Islam does allow itself to this level of abuse and sexual violence, if we really want to get serious about violence against women and girls. And just again, shame on any safeguarding minister or any minister who considers themselves an ally of women and girls and their safety in this country when they cannot even, they're sitting there kissing the rings of
Yep.
elders, going to these same councils who have covered up these very atrocities.
All of them.
Maria,
King Charles as well.
Let's not forget
About
the
the Queen.
criminal, I would say almost borderline criminal
That's
behaviour
all
of
The big
various British police departments. Have a listen to
And the
this.
police.
This is horrific.
And
This
the king.
man's daughter was kidnapped and was being abused
And
by
the
a
king, and
Pakistani
the
rape
queen.
gang. He tried to rescue her,
Well, it's only the king
but then the
here.
police came and arrested him. Listen to him. Imagine this. Imagine, I can't wrap my head around this kind of injustice. Where would you go? Your state is supposed to
That's what
protect you and
king
fight
got.
with you.
The king said the king
When
wants
you
to
know
become
something
king
like this is
desperately. Now it's
happening,
to pay
but
the price.
instead they
For being the
sided
king
with
for what
the
he's done.
abusers.
So the
I got a
contract
phone call to say where Elizabeth
was the
was.
government.
So I come across, because I lived on next estate, I come across, banged on the door. I saw a movement in Curtin. Then
What?
within probably 5 minutes, a police car arrived. They asked me what I was doing. I told them. They arrested me and took me back to where I lived, and then they arrested me. So obviously I'm sat in house again, and I'll getting more and more frustrated.
I can now understand why Americans say you've got to have a gun. I think in that situation, if you're a father, oh my goodness, I can't even imagine. I can't imagine. This is, oh my goodness, this is
And he
the
hasn't
stuff
got much
where,
money. You can
yeah,
tell
I
he's
don't think you
dad
care
without
about the law,
much
especially
like
when
my
the law doesn't
family
even
was.
protect you.
Like
What
I
would
am.
you do if you know that in that house your child is being abused?
Exactly, and what would I do when I
I'll get
know
in trouble
social
if
penal
I said
services
what I'm
wrongly falsely
thinking,
adopted for
but
this
I
to
know what you
happen?
mean. I think every father would do that.
So I come back over to the flat.
1 hour later or something, was it?
It was about 20 minutes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it seemed within minutes, a van pulled up this time, and I think there were 2 or 3 officers. They arrested me, took me down to the police station. Took me to the police station.
Left him there for
They
days,
take me
like
to
George being
they used to
abused.
charge people, and that took me straight
God
through into
bless
the room
me.
near cells. So I'm in there. About half an hour
Worried
later,
and
the
sick
call-
about his
Oh,
fucking
they're coming,
daughter.
what are you doing?
Like I
Oh,
am.
what do you mean? Just follow me, they said. So I followed them, and they took me through
Yeah.
offices and out
I'm
to
the same, mate.
with
I'm
police
in the same
stations.
situation,
Republic
really.
Wing. And the warned
It's not
me,
more
if I come back
far
to the
off.
flat, I'd be arrested
Was
for
the same
stalking.
situation.
Stalking laws had just come in then, you know, serious ones.
And the get how
So,
he feels, it's
They let me
sick.
go.
Well, what happens if you take like, my
King
daughter?
Charles,
my
a
daughter,
bastard.
What do they say to you? She
King fucking
isn't in there,
Charles.
or she wants to stay there, or what they say
Oh,
to
with
her?
them pedo scammer. Oh, look
It
at
was
me
what they
together.
were saying to me, it was what they were threatening me with. You know what I mean?
Slavery's
They
never
wouldn't answer the
stopped. Never
questions.
been
Why
banned.
wouldn't they get her out? Why wouldn't they let me get her out then if they don't
Gone
want to
in
do
and
it?
around the world, no
And
matter
I
what.
just kept coming back all the time. Look, you're targeting,
It's all over the world.
you're targeting people because of the race. I said, I'm
From
not at all.
here to fucking
It's because what
Targeting
Africa.
people because of their race.
Yeah.
My goodness, guys. We need to know the names of these police officers. They need to be put in prison for a very
Long
freaking
time.
long time. I'm assuming his daughter was underage.
Yeah.
How is that
My daughter's
justifiable by
underage as
any
well.
stretch of imagination?
And that judge should be put in
They're
prison
doing-
for a
these
long
are
time
great
for what
men.
she's done
If
to
you
me,
have
my
any doubt
daughter.
in your mind that this has got nothing to do with Islam and these are just some bad apples following some bastardized version of Islam, listen to this Muslim woman who doesn't even know anything about the grooming gangs or all of these gangs. And by the way, this grooming gang or the rape gang phenomenon is not unique to Britain. In France, it's the Algerians. In Germany, it's the Syrians and the Turks. In Sweden, it's the Syrians again. So everywhere you look at, and in Spain, it's the Moroccans.
Yeah.
Why is it? We never hear of
Any of
the
that.
Hindu rape gang. Yes, every community has its own fair share of sex pests, but this is a very unique phenomenon that has been witnessed and observed in the West, which is predominantly perpetrated by Muslims.
What?
And why then? This Muslim woman
Bloody
will
cat.
explain it to you now.
What? I just fed you. You've been out. You'll knock everything off, yeah? Not it. Not it. Yeah. Lexi poo.
بل ومعتدية على البشر
What are you doing?
وطبعا احنا بنتكلم ايه عن المستحيل يعني مستحيل ان احنا هيجي اليوم نحارب في اسرائيل ولو ان سوره الاسراء مبشره بكده يعني وليس مستحيلا على الله سبحانه وتعالى فاصل الحرب
Wow, 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 wow. Meow. Meow.
Israel tells you that what happened on October the 7th is not just an action against the Jews.
What are you
It's against
doing?
all of you.
I
It's
know,
against every non-Muslim. The
Yeah.
Hindus have also observed this phenomenon in India. They call it the love jihad. It's the same people everywhere.
Yeah.
بمعنى ان
Just
عشان
why?
اذلهم بيصبحوا ملكا للقائد او للجيش او
Of him, Muslim Muhammad shared Jewish women around with his fellow soldiers. In fact, you might have heard of this woman. Her name was Safiya. She was picked by another Muslim soldier, and Muhammad heard about it from one of his commanders or something, and they said, "Oh dear Prophet, you might like that one. Her name is Safiya. She's really beautiful. You know, you might like her." But Muhammad called for her to come, and then when she appeared, he gave 2 of his own other sex slaves to the original commander, and he said, "Give her back to me. This is the guy these people literally worship. He's presented as the greatest man who ever lived, the horniest man who ever lived, perhaps."
وللمسلم يستمتع بيهم كما يستمتع
Sell you for them. For her.
بعد بقى
Sell you as ugly bastards for a nice beautiful one. Yay! We got that one. Sell the ugly one for a nice beautiful one. That's what he was doing. He wants the beautiful ones, not the fat ugly ones. He wants the cheap young ones. Young ones. The fresh meat ones. La lamb. Little lamb ones. Little baby lamb. He doesn't want the old fat lambs, he wants little lambs. Baby lamb. Mutton lamb. Mutton lamb is little lamb. Baby lamb. Baby lamb tastier than the big fat lamb.
Okay, so you might actually say, I have to present their argument clearly, which is why I have always said that they draw a direct line from Islam. However, Islam itself says that you can only do it as an act of war. The problem here is, why are we seeing this phenomenon all across the West, but Muslim men only? Why? As I said, it's the Moroccans in Spain, it's the Algerians in France, it's the Syrian and Turks in Germany, it's the Syrians in Sweden, always exclusively against non-Muslim women. Well, because it's very easy for Muslims to tell themselves that this is Darul Harb. Darul Harb means Islam, as a doctrine, divides the world into 2 spheres. Darul Islam, Darul Harb. Darul Islam means the house of Islam. Darul Harb means the house of war. Now, I know not every Muslim sees it like this, because most Muslims probably don't care. But it's very easy for any Muslim to say, okay, I am living in a house of war. This is an infidel country, infidel land. They're racist towards my people. They hate Islam. They make fun of my religion. They make fun of my prophet. Therefore, we are at war with these people. So many Muslim scholars have said it. We are at war with these people. Then, when you are at war with these people, then any woman that you capture becomes your slave girl. This is what. So you could say that this is not the exact teaching of Islam, but because that provision exists in Islam, that's why it's possible for Muslim men to do these things. There are no such teachings in Hinduism or Buddhism. That's why we don't see Hindu rape gangs. That's why we don't see Buddhist rape gangs or Sikh rape gangs. And this is why when you see a Hindu PDF file or a Hindu R person, Hindu rapist, he will be embarrassed. He will try to cover his face. I have shown so many videos of Muslim PDFs getting caught by vigilante groups in the UK. You know what they say? In my religion, it's perfectly fine. They have no shame. Because there is a provision within their doctrine, within their political ideology, masquerading as religion, that they can do these things and they can justify these things. I think this is not going to stop. This is going to keep going. Over the coming days and weeks, we're going to see a lot more of this, and it will become impossible for the media to keep ignoring that. Right now, they are only attacking Rupert Lowe, but it's not going to go on for long, because this crime, some estimates put the number to be around 250,000 girls, this is an entire generation that is lost. An entire generation. There has to be a day of reckoning. That police officer or police officers who arrested that father. There are countless stories like that. My heart. I don't know what I would do, guys. I am a father of a girl. I don't understand what I'll do. I think your life will come to an end.
Back to things I do need.
Yeah, that's just that. Yeah, it cannot. Obviously, I have to be careful, but you know, every father out there knows what he will do, and to ask a father to sit down and just absorb it, oh, that is criminal, beyond imagination.
Yeah, that's what King Charles is doing to everybody. I hope you get that.